There are stories you hear once in your life and never forget. Tales so strange, so unsettling, that they cling to you like shadows. One such story begins with an old fortune teller I once knew, a man who carried with him an air of mystery and a sense of absolute conviction in the strange science he practiced. He was not like the tricksters and charlatans who preyed upon the weak. No, this man believed with such sincerity that you could not help but feel the weight of his words. In his youth, he had been in the service of a wealthy woman, living a life of ease. But the winds of politics and fate shifted, scattering his world like dry leaves in a storm. Left adrift, he turned to the only thing he had ever studied deeply, the arcane Chinese science of divination. He became a wanderer, moving from village to village, analyzing faces and palms, offering predictions in return for food, coins, or sometimes nothing at all. What set him apart was his manner. He was soft-spoken, humble, almost fragile in his movements. He would bow his head before each reading, murmur an earnest prayer to the unseen gods, and then slowly open the books of ancient knowledge. People trusted him because he seemed to trust something greater than himself. Even I, who never believed in fortune-telling, sometimes felt uneasy when he spoke of the future, for his eyes glimmered with a quiet certainty. I first met him in Izumo, when he was already an old man, though his eyes shone with the sharpness of youth. Later, I encountered him again in Kyoto and in Kobe. I begged him more than once to stay with me, to share his endless knowledge of traditions and ancient customs. He would smile and decline. Freedom, he said, was worth more to him than comfort. He could never stay anywhere longer than 2 days, and like a bird, he was always gone by the third morning. Every winter, he wandered into Tokyo. For months, he would drift through the city, appearing in one district and then another, before disappearing altogether. Whenever he came to me, he brought curious little gifts, a relic from a shrine, a trinket from a faraway village, or sometimes nothing more than a story. I lived for those moments. His tales stretched across mountains and rivers, carrying with them the dust of forgotten places. On the last occasion I saw him, his words struck me deeper than ever before. He spoke of the exact sciences of Chinese divination, where the fate of objects and men alike could be measured with astonishing precision. A true master, he said, can not only foretell the moment a pot will crack, but even the manner of its breaking and the meaning hidden within that event. To explain, he told me of Shoko Setsu, a learned man who abandoned high office to devote himself to study. Poor and alone, Setsu lived in a hut, writing thoughts upon its walls for lack of paper and using a clay tile as his pillow. One summer, angered by a rat that disturbed his rest, he flung the tile at it. The rat escaped, but the tile shattered. And there, on the fresh break of the clay, appeared Chinese characters that had been written inside long before the tile was baked. They read, "In the year of the hare, on the 17th day of the 4th month, at the hour of the serpent, this tile shall be broken when thrown at a rat." Setsu was thunderstruck. The prophecy had been fulfilled down to the very hour. He discovered that a fortune teller had inscribed the tile long ago. When he sought the man, he found only the fortune teller's disciples, who told him their master had died, but not before leaving behind a book for Setsu. It contained secrets beyond imagining. Testing its guidance, Setsu dug at the south side of his hut where it instructed, and uncovered a jar filled with gold. As the old fortune teller finished the story, his voice grew softer, almost fading into silence. He looked at me with tired eyes and said, "There are things written in the fabric of time that no man can escape." That was the last time I saw him. Months later, word reached me that he had perished. While crossing a mountain pass, he had been caught in a storm. He was found sitting beneath a pine tree, his pack still on his shoulders, his head bowed, as though in meditation. Perhaps he had fallen asleep waiting for the storm to pass, or perhaps he had known the very hour of his own end and had gone willingly into it. I think of him often, the old man who walked the world with nothing but his faith in fate, who believed in a science that promised to reveal the hidden script of the universe. And I wonder, when he closed his eyes for the last time, did he see the words of his own destiny written before him? Did he finally read the final prophecy of his life, not carved in clay, but in the silence of death?